Hey everybody, what's up? Yeah, I put a little bit of makeup on today. So you're welcome. I want to talk about one challenge of parenting, an aspect a lot of people don't want to admit, especially when it comes to raising children. And I'm talking about children who are just who are jerks. I'm not talking about difficult children. I'm talking about children that are just cruel, mean, etc. And any parent who has had a child who's been arrested or who's been on Dr. Phil or intervention or the when they put their kids in, like, make them go to jail for either in a couple of hours or I'm talking about a kid who others would describe as a jerk, a bully, an a-hole, or a b. That's the toughest part when it comes to parenting, is admitting your child is just not nice. And so when it comes to parental estrangement, as we age and maybe your adult son or daughter is cruel and you find them saying really hateful things, shame-ridden things, the kind of things that you can't believe are coming out of the mouth of someone that you gave birth to. I dug deep into this. Not deep, I'm not going to say deep, but I said, what is the definition of someone who takes pleasure in bringing pain to other people? And I'm going to read what I found. The term for someone who takes pleasure in causing others pain is a sadist. This can manifest in various ways, from physically or psychologically hurting others to simply enjoy their suffering from a distance, a concept sometimes called everyday sadist. Sadism is a personality trait characterized by deriving enjoyment from the pain or humiliation of others. Everyday sadism, a non-clinical version of sadism that can be seen in behaviors like bullying, playing cruel pranks, or enjoying violent media. Active versus vicarious sadism. Some sadists actively inflict pain, active sadism, while others are content to merely witness or enjoy it indirectly, which is vicarious sadism. There's a German word for it called Schadenfreude, Freude. But let me spell it out, Schadenfreude. German word in German, it's called harm joy. It's the experience of pleasure, joy, or self-satisfaction that comes from learning the troubles, failures, pain, suffering, or humiliation of another. It says it has been detected in children as young as 24 months and may be an important social emotion establishing inequity aversion. I don't know about you, but I've talked about parental estrangement and the fact that it's been a part of my life for 15 years. Back when my children disconnected, the internet wasn't in full force. There were no groups or social media or anything like that that would tell children to disconnect or it's a good idea or F your parents, etc. But in today's day and age, on the internet, especially in a group on Facebook group called Mothers of Estranged Sons, it consists of estranged sons and daughters who go on to take pleasure in causing pain, not necessarily of their parents, but parents in general who are estranged. I watched the Oprah show the other day and I didn't see any estranged sons and daughters who took pleasure in causing their parents pain, but how else can we label it? We don't want to say, hey, my child's a sadist. But that's the definition of someone who is. So I don't want to instill a clinical term on anyone. I don't diagnose anyone. But I'm just seeing this trend. It's how in the world does a person come to grips with something like that to say my son is according to certain definitional standards, that my son is technically XYZ because he takes pleasure in the pain of others, especially when it comes to a parent. Is that a special kind of sadism that isn't talked about? I don't know about you, but when we think of someone who defines this type of or has this type of manifestation, we would think, well, it's someone who would kill their parents or someone who would molest a sibling or someone who would burn a house down or murder his grandmother. But it can't be defined just by acts of violence, physical violence. It has to do with mental, emotional, spiritual, etc. So as much as we don't want to talk about it and we don't want to say, hey, this is reflective of my son or daughter or the adult sons and daughters who are in these groups on the internet, seems like it to me. So I'm not going to diagnose anyone, but that's reflective of what's happening. So anyways, stay away from people like that. There's way too many kind people in this world for us to have to put up with, accept. Even if it's your son or daughter, you don't deserve to be treated unkindly. So anyways, that's all there is to it, and I'll be back.